uses 500,000 gallons a day, about 10% of the county's total water. Proposals elsewhere have sought 5 to 9 million gallons a day. It's wow. Okay, that's a lot. So, recent incident in Fayetteville in 2025 during drought, residents in Annalise Park noticed low water pressure. Fayette County officials discovered 2 unmetered industrial hookups at a large Quality Technology Services Blackstone-owned data center campus. Had used 29 to 30 million gallons, enough for 44 Olympic pools over several months without proper billing or full tracking. So one hookup was installed without utility knowledge. QTS paid a retroactive $147,000 bill for construction activities like concrete dust control. Residents had been asked to conserve water at the same time. This fueled outrage. Fayetteville later banned new data centers citywide. And I can understand why. It's like you come in and you disrupt everything, but at the same time, you're like, well, we can't be held responsible. It's really, really crazy. So politicians who benefit, right? I just wanted to know, like, who's benefiting from this? It's like $2.5 billion is an estimate cost. So Brian Kemp strongly supported it in 2024. Even the Lieutenant or Burt Jones, and he's a governor candidate. He is directly tied. His family land is part of a proposed massive $10 billion highway project in Butts County, including up to 11 million square foot of data centers, plus hospital and services. It could use 4.5 million gallons of water a day. Okay, 92 million in a year in taxes, but promises $92 million a year in taxes. Jones is described as very pro data center. I don't like the data centers because, in my opinion, what do they really bring? Broader Republican-led legislatures may frame it as job, tax revenue, wins for rural areas, pushback, right? Senator Rashawn Kemp, a Democrat in Atlanta, a Data Center Transparency Act to ban NDAs on water, electricity usage and required disclosures, moratoriums on new projects, early sunset of tax credits, and tying incentives to efficiency water conservation. Democrats like Representative Debbie Buckner and some Republicans have sponsored limits. It's now a flashpoint in 2026 in the governor's race. Who benefits most? Primarily the data center developers, tech giants via tax savings, and politicians who can claim credit for economic growth, tax revenue in their districts. No widespread evidence of direct personal enrichment in public records, but industry ties and campaign dynamics do play a role. Environmental conservation groups and affected residents argue the cost outweigh benefits for everyday Georgians. Bottom line, the brown water in the clip is a real resident complaint tied to construction disruption near Meta's site. Debated causation under EPA review, but the deeper issue is water quantity. Data centers, high demand exacerbating drought and infrastructure strains across the state. Now, I also asked this other question. I said, what are the primary functions of the data centers and how do they contribute to humans? So data centers are specialized facilities that house servers, storage systems, networking equipment, and supporting infrastructure, cooling, power, security, to store, process, and distribute vast amounts of digital data. They serve as the physical backbone of the modern digital world, enabling everything from everyday internet use to advanced AI applications. Data centers perform several core roles: data storage and management. To securely store enormous volumes of data, petabytes and exabytes, for businesses, governments, and individuals. This includes databases, backup, archives, and compliance. It's interesting to me because I'm like, we didn't have data centers before, and we're doing okay, right? We're doing all right. But now we need these massive data centers. It just, to me, it's just weird. But data processing and computing servers run calculation, applications, or workload. This ranges from simple tasks to complex ones. Networking and data dissemination. They route internet traffic, support cloud services, enable content delivery, and facilitate real-time communication. But we had this before the data centers again. I'm just I'm like, okay, do we always have data centers and I just wasn't aware? Just saying. Disaster recovery and redundancy. They provide backup systems, failover capabilities, and high availability. Cloud computing and virtualization, right? Modern data centers deliver scalable virtual resources on demand to places like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google Meta that use them at a hyperscale. So how data centers contribute to humans? Data centers have transformed society by powering the digital economy and enabling technological progress. Okay. Everyday digital life, making it possible to stream. Okay. Economic growth and jobs, innovation and scientific advancement, health, education, and public services, global connectivity and productivity. So scale and impact. There are thousands of data centers worldwide, over 4,000 in the US alone. AI and cloud growth are driving explosive expansion. So in short, data centers are essential infrastructure for the information age, much like power plants or roads, quietly enabling the convenience, innovations, and economic opportunities we rely on daily. And so I asked another question. I said, so will the data centers eventually become a utility that humans have to pay for? He says, no. Data centers themselves are unlikely to become a direct utility that individual humans subscribe to and pay a monthly bill for. They are private or corporate-owned infrastructure facilities, not public utilities regulated in the same way. However, you are already indirectly paying for them in many places through higher electricity, right? And sometimes water bills. And this trend is accelerating with AI growth, right? So this is how it affects humans and what they pay. So indirect costs via electricity rates. Data centers consume enormous electricity for servers and cooling. Utilities often build new power plants. And this is what Georgia Power is doing. They're expanding the power lines, right? This is what the whole easement argument is about. Grid upgrades to serve them. So in high density areas, this has driven significant rate increases. Wholesale power prices have risen sharply, up 267% in some data center heavy regions. So projections, data centers could use 6.7 to 12% of total US electricity by 2028 and 2030, doubling or tripling current demand. Water usage, similar localized pressures on water utilities or rates in drought-prone areas, though electricity is the bigger widespread issue. Who benefits and who pays? Tech companies, Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, get the computing power for AI, cloud services, streaming, etc. Residents often subsidize the infrastructure build out unless policies change. Okay, so policy pushback. Many states are reforming rules so data centers pay their full cost up front. Dedicated rate classes, longer contracts. Examples include Georgia, new PSC rule, Virginia, Minnesota, and others aiming to growth pays for growth. In Georgia, utilities like Georgia Power claim large users now cover costs and may even lower residential rates long term via added revenue. And see, they say this up front, but I'm like, no, I want to see the trajectory. I want to see the forecasting. I want it laid out. Where does the discount come? Because see, they told these people the same thing about what solar power. Yeah, get these panels on your house and it'll save you. People are still paying for the solar panels, paying for the battery for the solar panels to lower their energy costs, but it's higher, but their energy bill is higher because they're paying for this equipment. And their utility bill still hasn't gone down. It's actually higher.